We're joined by Mr. Jakub Janda. He's Director, European Values Centre for Security Policy, and he's joining us from Prague. Welcome, Mr. Janda. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
So, clearly this shooting was the culmination of a period of quite a lot of political unrest in Slovakia. How would you characterise what was happening? What were the moving parts and where were the main bones of contention?
So there are two things. One is that Prime Minister Fico and his coalition of effectively far-right parties has been taking over the government after they won the elections. And there has been a lot of, I would say, uproar because the way how Slovak Prime Minister Fico did it, or has been doing it, is pretty dramatic because he's pretty much overtaking not only the governing coalition, the ministries, but also he's basically purging the security institutions of the Slovak state, and he's basically making Slovakia his own regime, if I put it that way. In a similar way, how Viktor Orban has been trying to do it, or has been doing it in Hungary, and also, I would say, fighting very hard against the independent media and the civil society as well. So that has been a huge push, I would say, and a lot of pushback from the civil society, from the media, from other EU allies to Slovakia as well. The other one is the other part is geopolitical, where Mr. Fico is one of the best allies of Russia in Europe, alongside with the Hungarian president, and he's been pretty much turning Slovakia and Slovak state in a supporter of Russia in foreign policy, but also in domestic policy. We have seen how he's pretty much hugging the Russian ambassador in Bratislava, for example. So those are the two elements which I would see mainly.
And how do neighbouring countries, especially the Czech Republic, view this event, and what actions, to your mind, might they take in response?
If you mean the assassination attempt, really, that has been met with the obvious condemnation from everybody in Czech politics. Obviously, nobody likes and everybody discourages assassination attempts on national leaders, even as we dislike them for policy reasons. Mr. Fico is not very popular among the Czech foreign policy establishment because he's a friend of Russia, but nobody supports his assassination, obviously. So that has been something of a main or common voice to wish him well, wish him recovery, and so that he survives. And that at the same time that Slovakia might actually calm down, hopefully, that the main political powers and mainly the governing party, which is pretty much far right and pretty radical, would maybe calm down the anger which it has been feeding in the society, in the Slovak society, because this attack seems to be as a result of such a polarization driven by the current government in Slovakia.
Right, Mr. Janda, there have been reports that even before this violence, Slovakia and the Czech Republic were on divergent paths. Now you mention Prime Minister Fico's right-wing policies, but was there anything else that pushed the two countries apart?
There is a major split over support for Ukraine and over Russia policy. So Czech government is one of the strongest supporters of Ukraine, alongside Poland and the Baltic nations, for example, while Slovakia is not. The current Slovak government is actually very directly attacking Ukraine politically, very much supporting Russia in many of their objectives. So that led to a major split between Czech and Slovak governments. But, for example, the Czech government decided to suspend basically government meetings with Slovakia, which were very regular until now. And for example, Czech intelligence agencies are not sharing sensitive information with Slovak state because they don't trust them. They believe they are basically allies of Russia. That something was already publicly confirmed. So Slovakia seems to be quite isolated because of their pro-Russia policies on the state level, while there's a strong civil society in Slovakia which disagrees with this, has been doing crowdfunding campaigns for Ukraine, for example, and that's something that is very much cherished by the Czech society as well.
We do see that there is some shift, especially, for instance, with the Visegrad groups, when we see that the V4, so-called, now is becoming a V2 and a V2, where Slovakia is more aligning itself with Hungary, whilst now the Czech Republic is more aligning with Poland and the rest of the Western world. So we do see that there is a tectonic shift, to be sure. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights with us here on TVP World.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Janda.